In this street in Shanghai called Changyang Street, yeah, is the Jewish Refugees Museum, which is that one there. It's the Jewish Refugees Museum.
In the ark, we have a real Torah in it.
There's a real Torah, yeah.
And it was a gift from Israeli government.
Okay, yeah.
And also, the ark cover was a gift from Israeli council in Shanghai.
I see. This ark cover, yeah?
Yeah, and there is an interesting story about this ark cover. So the cloth was bought in Shanghai, but all the gems were from India, and it was designed by an Israeli artist and finally handmade in New York.
Which one? That one?
Yeah, the red one, the ark cover. So it's like, it has kind of meaning that although Jewish people, they live all over the world, but they gather together as Jewish like that.
I see.
And also there is one Hebrew sentence on the top of the ark cover.
I see, and that's the sentence.
Hebrew.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for me to read and understand.
So the guide tells me that this synagogue was built in 1927.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly for the German refugees? Escaping Nazis?
This place?
Yeah.
No, because synagogue is the center of the ghetto.
Okay.
So Jewish refugees, they lived around the buildings of synagogue. So
Okay.
you can see the buildings there from the window. But we may first...
We can just about catch a glimpse of the Torah through there. Yeah. So that's the top floor, yeah? One floor up. This wall here, you see that extends right to the other end, are the names of 13,732
732.
and 32 survivors
Yeah.
after they took refuge in Shanghai.
Yeah.
These people were alive at the time. Yeah. So all their names are here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct?
But this is an incomplete one.
Okay, there's
So,
still more.
I tell you the story. So when Japanese government, they occupied this area,
Yeah.
they set up a ghetto in 1943.
Okay.
So they asked 3 little girls to type all the names of Jewish people living here.
Yeah.
But these 3 little girls, they were really clever, so they think maybe the government, Japanese government, needed these names to do some bad things. So
Yeah.
they typed lots of mistakes and missed lots of names.
Yeah, but may I just say the Japanese wouldn't have killed Jewish people. Japanese were not interested in Jewish people.
Yeah, I know, but they set up a ghetto here.
So this is the
front
synagogue
gate
here?
of the synagogue. It's named Ohel Moishe Synagogue and David Star.
Yeah. Apparently the Japanese set up a ghetto here with the synagogue as the center. And all those houses you see are 1.5 square kilometers around the synagogue was a Jewish ghetto. The Germans tried to influence the Japanese at the time to finally solve the Jewish problem and annihilate the Jews, but the Japanese wouldn't accept those terms, because they needed Jewish finance. This is the beautiful view of this synagogue. These signs you see here used to belong to the little Jewish cafes that made up the ghetto at the time of the occupation by the Japanese. These are actual signs, yeah, at the time. This is an actual photograph at the time of the Japanese occupation, would you say? Japanese?
Yeah.
This is the ghetto here around this synagogue at the time of the Jewish occupation. Yeah. Beautiful, yeah. And how far is that?
It's near here, all near here. You want the Hebrew one or just English one?
You can give me both. About the Vienna Cafe? Yeah?
Yeah. This is another
It is a what place?
hit place, like most attractive place for them.
When Rabin visited this museum, he wrote a few things, and what he wrote is here. This is a statue recently. This is an engraving recently made, yeah, about the life of the Hong Kong Jewish community at the time, refugee community.
This is when Jewish people they went in Shanghai, they must went through this bridge.
They had to go through the bridge.
Yeah, they
Yeah?
had to go through. This is their models of them.
Those are the Japanese soldiers. And what's on top there? That's the buildings around.
Yeah,
Yeah?
buildings.
Supposed to be.
And this is the Garden Bridge.
This is the Garden Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to went into Shanghai, you must go through this bridge.
Looking back on the vicissitudes of the years, we are now entering the Ohel Moishe synagogue located on Changyang Road, Shanghai. It has endured a century of adversity and calamitous times, supporting the fate of friendship between two diversified ethnic groups. Today, let us travel back to the 1930s, a time engulfed by the flames of war and suffering. In 1937, Shanghai was overwhelmed by Japanese militarism, leaving in its wake a dense fog of smoke and wanton destruction. Simultaneously, countless Jews in mainland Europe were plunged into an unprecedented catastrophe of monumental proportions when Hitler assumed the reins of the Nazi Party in Germany. On November 9, 1938, the rioting hordes of the rabid anti-Semitic movement were stirring up throughout Germany and Europe. Synagogues were burned, holy scrolls were incinerated, Jewish cemeteries destroyed, Jewish stores smashed, countless Jews injured, killed, and sent away to almost certain death in the concentration camps. This catastrophic night later became known as Kristallnacht, or Night of Broken Glass. The dictator's hateful rhetoric was believed by most Germans, and his fanatical followers eradicated Jewish life with inordinate violence. And as a result, 6 million Jews were barbarically murdered in an attempt to obliterate 5,000 years of ancient Jewish civilization. The 18th Conference convened in 1938 to discuss the issue of Jewish refugees fleeing from persecution. Although all participants expressed their sympathy for the refugees, none were actually willing to grant them a refuge. As a result, millions of Jews in Europe, anxious to escape from the Nazi terror campaign, found it increasingly difficult to find a place of sanctuary. The candles burned shorter and the dark nights grew longer. The gates of the so-called civilized world were firmly closed to the cries and pleas for help. At a critical moment, the Chinese, who were themselves suffering from the ravages of Japanese imperialism, opened their arms to the refugees with generosity and compassion. At last, for many thousands of homeless and destitute Jewish refugees, they found a refuge in the remote land of China, in the city named Shanghai. According to incomplete statistics, at least 23,000 Jewish refugees settled down in Shanghai between 1933 and 1941. Of this population, around 14,000 refugees lived in Hongkou district. The destitute and homeless refugees struggled to start anew in the unfamiliar city. With the support and help of the local Chinese people and Jewish organizations, they gradually became accustomed to local life and integrated with the Chinese culture. At the same time, however, they endeavored to preserve their own culture and lifestyle. Jewish life was visible everywhere with German signs at schools, hospitals, synagogues, cafes, and shops. The Hongkou ghetto became known as Little Vienna. Hongkou and Shanghai will be remembered as a shelter for the survival, equality, and dignity of these fortunate Jewish people who found a safe haven here. And they were deeply touched by the kindness and splendor of human nature.
A photo of Dr. Ohel Moishe, the man who saved thousands of Jewish lives. I'll say goodbye to this beautiful synagogue here.